Did anyone bring a smartphone with them to church? Bob, do you have yours with you?
Yes.
May I borrow it? I'm not going to call anyone, don't worry. My face does not unlock your phone. Now, does anyone know what kind of smartphone we're looking at here? It's an Apple iPhone, yes. Judging by the fancy double cameras and the notch and the Face ID, I'm guessing iPhone 11. 10. Oh, so close. So close. iPhone 10. Now, you don't make phone calls on your iPhone, do you?
Very rarely.
Do any of you make phone calls on your phones? Everyone but Bob makes phone calls on their phones, yes? My wife would say husbands never answer their calls on the cell phone. Amen, right? They could, but they don't. And do you ever send text messages with your phone?
Yes.
But you can do it.
Yes, I can do it.
How about the rest of you? Any of you text message with your smartphone?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. You got to have something to do during work when it gets boring, right? Amen. That's what meetings are for, is texting. You got a Gmail notification. You do email on your phone. Does it tell you where to go? GPS, right? Tell you where to go sometimes. You don't know how to get there. You can take pictures with it, right? Do you ever get pictures of your grandkids sent to you on it? Yeah. iPhone does a lot, doesn't it? I've heard Android phones can do a lot too. All the same sorts of things. What do you think you would do if the screen always looked like this and it was just black and dark?
Not much.
And it didn't do anything. Turn on the screen reader, yes. But what if that was broken too? And what if you couldn't make phone calls on it anymore? And you couldn't get text messages, and you really couldn't take your wife's phone calls. You weren't just ignoring them, but you actually couldn't take them.
Get a new phone.
You'd get a new phone. You wouldn't keep it, would you? Just keep paying AT&T for it. You'd go get a new one. Funny that, huh? Why would you go get a new one, Becky?
Because I need my phone.
Because phones are meant to make phone calls, even from wives, and to accept text messages, and to get pictures of grandkids, and for the GPS to tell us where to go, and to entertain us at work when it gets boring. That's what these are for, right? I mean, we pretend they're tools for work. They're really entertainment tools. But if the phone doesn't do what it was designed to do, you throw it away. Or as someone at the 8 o'clock said, no, you recycle it. But you recycle it and you get a new one. You don't just keep paying them more and more for it every month. So we know what a smartphone's for. It's for phone calls and text messages and direction and entertainment and email and pictures.
Calendar.
And calendars. What were you made for? See, we all know what our smartphone was made for, and we know how to use it and do stuff with it. But what were we made for?
To be the light of the world.
To be the light of the world. This is the question that Jesus is addressing in his great speech about salt and light. You were created, like every person who has ever lived, to be friends with God. And if you're not being friends with God, you're like salt that's not salty anymore. It's worthless and you throw it away. Or you're like an iPhone 10 that can't make phone calls or get text messages or pictures or directions or anything else. And it's gotten rid of. Because if it's not doing what it was meant to do, it's not good or valuable anymore. You were meant to be friends with God. And when we're not working on becoming friends with God, we're not doing what we were meant to do, what we were built to do. And then we're like unsalty salt or smartphones that don't work. And who wants that? Now, do any of you have any friends? I hope so. Some of you have friends, right?
Yep.
Abby, do you have friends? Excellent. And do you ever talk to your friends? Yes? Do they ever talk to you? Do you ever share secrets with your friends? No? What if your mom plugged her ears? Would you say yes then? You know she does. Huh. And if your friend needed you to help them, would you? And if you needed them to help you, would they? Wow. I would hope so. Or else they're not a friend. Friendship looks like spending time together. It looks like talking to them and listening to them. Friendship looks like reaching out a hand to help them when they need you. Imagine you have a friend who calls you and says, "Hey, can you pick me up at the Charlotte airport? My ride fell through." Are you going to say, "Let me tell you about the Uber app and how it works"? Use your smartphone. You're going to love this. No, you're going to go and get them. And they're going to tell you it takes 90 minutes to get to the airport in Charlotte, and that will be a lie. It takes 2 hours. If the plane's not delayed, right? But you're going to get in your car knowing that it's 4 hours round trip, not 3, and pick them up. You're going to say, "Why don't you get an Uber?" Because being a friend looks like reaching out and doing stuff with and for them. So what does it look like to be God's friend? Well, first it looks like praying. It looks like talking to God. And if you say, "I'm not real good at talking," you're in great company. St. Paul in Corinthians this morning talked about he wasn't really good at talking either. And Moses would have told you he wasn't good at talking, but he was good enough to convince Pharaoh to let his people go. Talking to God is just talking, like you would to a friend. If you need some help starting that, let me know. I can teach you. But it also looks like helping God get God's work done in the world. And that means having a ministry of your own. Every single follower of Jesus is supposed to have a ministry. Some of our ministries is caring and loving people. That's a real ministry. Some of us have the gifted ministry of music. Some of us are organizers. Some of us are good at accounting for things. But every last one of us is supposed to have a ministry that we do. You don't say, "God, let me tell you about Uber. It will get you home from the Charlotte airport." No, you go out and pick someone up. You don't say, "I'm too old or too tired or too busy or too rich or too poor or too whatever to do the work God has asked me to do." Because that's not what friendship is. And if we're not being friends with God, then we're like a broken smartphone, not good for anything. What were you created for? Friendship with God. Will you be His friend? Amen.